I've had a very eventful day. So, today I went for a walk and I stumbled upon a homeless camp. I was like, you know, I could do all of this. Like, I could either bike or I could drive or I could Uber or whatever. But today, I'm gonna stretch my legs. I'm gonna walk around. I'm gonna try and keep up my activity levels from Japan. And so, I go for a nice little stroll on my way to run some errands. And I come across this bridge. Is like under some construction. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try and go under the bridge. I'm gonna like follow this nature trail and I'm gonna like wrap around and I can avoid like all the construction and everything while enjoying like a nice stroll through nature. So I'm walking through and at first I don't see anything. And then as I get closer to underneath the bridge, I get passed by what is very obviously a homeless man on a bicycle. And I'm like, okay. Well, not uncommon for homeless people to live under bridges and stuff, or to probably like take this path. And so I go ahead and I keep walking, and then I hear some laughing. And I look behind me, and there was like these two girls, these two homeless women, like playing with each other's hair and giggling under this tree. And I'm like, they look kind of homeless, but maybe they're just like teenagers or something. I keep walking, and then I come across a big red sign that says no trespassing. And there's a whole bunch of homeless people underneath the bridge. And I'm like, and it's all dark and shady, and it's like there's like a group of guys like right at the entrance, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get out of here. So I backpedal very quickly. I'm like checking my phone, like just making sure that the battery is full and everything. And I start walking back, and I climb up the slope of the bridge. There's like a little hill beside it, so you can like climb up the slope. And I climb up that, and I step over the barrier because I don't want to be around that. I don't want to risk that. I've almost died today. Listen, I don't hate homeless people, but they do scare me, all right? They do scare me. And then I had another encounter with a homeless person. So I make it over the bridge, and I go to some little thrift shops, and I'm a thrift shopping. While I'm in there, this homeless guy comes in, and he spends some time browsing, and then he goes to leave. And the elderly store clerk stops him, and she says, "Did you put that jewelry and clothes back that you had?" And he says, "Yeah, I put them back there on the shelf." And she says, "Can you show me?" And he says, "No, they're back there on the shelf. I didn't steal them." And so obviously he stole. So she goes, "Okay, can you show me where you put that stuff down?" And then like an elderly gentleman approaches and starts like distracting the homeless guy while she goes to go look for the stuff. And she comes back in short time and says, there's nothing back there. Are you sure you didn't take anything?" And he says, "No, I didn't take anything. Look, I only have one pocket that I could put stuff in." And he's wearing a pair of pants, 2 layers of shirts, a jacket, and he's got a bag with him. So needless to say, he had more than one pocket. So the lady says, "Okay, can you empty your pocket for me? I don't mean to accuse you of stealing, but we've been very kind to you, and we just want some transparency." Or however she words it. And he's like, "I didn't steal anything. I'm getting out of here." And then he leaves. And the elderly gentleman is very confused and alarmed and kind of angry. And I'm like, okay, now I can check out. Yay. Because I was like in the checkout line directly behind this guy. And so I walk out of the store with my stuff in hand. And the homeless guy is just now like getting on his bicycle and having packed up his stuff. And I hear fucking F slurs. Goddamn F slurs. I can't fucking stand. This is such bullshit. These F slurs. Goddamn. Goddamn these F slurs. Yeah, these baguettes. And so I'm kind of stun locked, you know. I'm like just standing there watching this guy get on his bike and pedal off, all the while really angrily slurring, and not in the drunken way. I hope I never see that guy again. Yeah, the French bread strikes again. The French bread strikes again. He was on a pedal bike. Yeah, he was on a pedal bicycle that had like a cart behind it full of stuff. Why didn't you do your civic duty and civil arrest that guy? I don't want to get stabbed by a homeless person. So yeah, very interesting start. Very, very interesting start to the day. So then I do all my errands and I'm like, fuck it, I don't want to walk back. And my parents are busy. So I call an Uber, okay? I call an Uber and I'm like, I'll just Uber to this next spot that's pretty far away. Not too far. It's only like an $8 Uber rate. It's not like that far. I was just tired. And so I Uber to that spot, and I swear to God, my Uber driver must have been on some sort of substance. I didn't smell like weed on him or anything. He kept talking about very random stuff, and I was like half paying attention because I'm like my attention is more focused on how terribly he's driving, because he's like stopping and going, but man doesn't need to be stopping. Man will be going around a corner and he'll be hitting the brakes to go around that corner and then aggressively like hitting the gas, and I'm sitting there like am I gonna die today? Am I going to die today? Just an initial defan. Yeah, he was trying to drift. I get to the next spot and he's like, are you going to be Ubering back from here? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, well, I'll go wait in the gas station and you just give me a call and let me know when you're done. And I'm like, okay. Okay. I can save a bit on Uber fees if I just go through the dude directly. So because I'm an idiot with no self-preservation, I go along with it and I call the dude when I'm done in the store, and I'm like, okay. And so he pulls back up, probably like the worst driver I've ever had. I don't know why I did this. I'm an idiot. And he's like, okay, let's go. And I'm like, okay. And we get out of the parking lot, and then he asks for the address, and I'm like, oh, it's this. He's like, nice. Okay. I'm just like... And then for like payment, I'm like, do you have a Venmo? And he's like, no, I should get around to that. And I'm like, okay, do you have like a Cash App? And he's like, no. And I'm like, do you have a PayPal? And he's like, yeah, I have PayPal. I'm like, okay, how much do I owe you? And he's like, I don't know. And then he says the amount. And I'm like, okay, I'll PayPal you the money. And then I PayPal'd him, and he didn't even check. He didn't even check to see if I actually sent the money or not. He just went along with it. Pippa, did you almost get trafficked? I don't think so. I don't think so. During the car ride, he was talking about like how he got a degree and his son has a degree and he moved from Ohio. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. You ever go to like the Cincinnati Zoo? And he's like, the Cincinnati Zoo? Do you mean the Columbus Zoo? And I'm like, what the fuck is the Columbus Zoo? But I don't say that, so I just say, oh, yeah, the Columbus Zoo. I don't even know where Columbus is. He's like, that's probably the one you mean, because that one's world famous. And I'm like, bro, I know the Cincinnati Zoo because they got a hippo that's really popular. It's in the eastern side. Columbus is where the zoo is. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, world famous, unlike the Cincinnati Zoo. Who's ever heard of the Cincinnati Zoo before? That's crazy. It's not like the Cincinnati Zoo is really popular or anything. He talks about how he moved from Ohio and his wife left him. They moved from Ohio to my state with no job and just enough money to move because they wanted to move to a small town in the wilderness. I'm like, oh, okay. I tell you, chat, I get trauma dumped no matter where I go. Everywhere I go, I get trauma dumped on. I don't know why it happens to me. So he moved to this state. And then when he got here, his wife left him. And his wife's a lawyer. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, that's pretty impressive. And he's like, yeah. My son's a bioengineer. And I'm like, whoa, he must be pretty smart. And he's like, yeah, I tried telling him he doesn't have to get a degree like mine, but he did it anyways. But it's nice because we have stuff we can bond over. And I'm like, oh, that's really nice. What did you get a degree in? Chat, neurosurgery. My Uber driver said that his degree was in neurosurgery. There's no way, right? There's no way, right? Was he the neurosurgeon or the patient? Oh. And that's how I lost my medical license. I didn't even ask. In hindsight, I should have asked, like, well, why are you not like a doctor or something? But it also seemed like one of those situations where I might end up under the chopping block if I bring up bad memories. So I'm just like, wow, that's incredible. That's, wow. I was scared. The Uber driver was scary. The homeless man was scary. The homeless camp was scary. I want to Google his name. I have his full legal name. I kind of want to Google it and see if, like, anything comes up. Neurosurgeon from Ohio. Kills 5. Wife leaves him. Moves to other state.
Everybody, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Low Effort Clips. That's right, Low Effort Clips, right here on YouTube.com. Yeah, and hit the notification bell. Yeah.